Hey folks, disinterested young people, disinterested youths. Let me take you back. I recall talking to my granddad before he died about when he was younger and he was in the workplace. He ended up being quite senior as a mechanic for the post office after the war. And he recalls people coming into where he worked and asking for a job, and he would give them a job, and some of them would start working and stay there, and other people would just come in, work for a day or a week, and then they would just disappear off again. But why? You wouldn't really hear of that happening much nowadays. Well, there was plenty of work. So if somebody came to work at my granddad's place and they didn't like him or the boss, they'd just leave, go and get another job. If they didn't like the job they were doing, they would just leave and go and try something else. I mean, it could be ridiculous. If they didn't like the colour of the wallpaper in the bathroom or something like that, they could just leave and go and work somewhere that they felt more comfortable. And my mum, when she was young, talked of the newspapers being filled with jobs. Well, now there aren't those jobs available. You're pretty lucky to get a job as a young person nowadays. Everybody wants you to have experience and qualifications and so on and so forth. If you're 16 or 18 and you just left school, getting work can be very difficult. So if you do find work as a young person, you have to stay there. Now you're 17, 18, 19, you don't know if you want to be a bricklayer, but you give it a shot and you get a job as a bricklayer. And after a month or after 3 months you think, well, this isn't really for me. It's a bit boring, or it's a bit repetitive, or I don't like working outside, or I find the building site banter to be rather offensive. Can you go and get another job just like that? No. You end up having to stay there whether you like it or not. If you leave the job, you can't just go and sign on and get some money. It's much more difficult than that nowadays. So we're ending up with a situation where there's thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of young people all in jobs that aren't necessarily suited to them. And it's not like they can just up sticks and go and try something else. And that leaves you with a lot of people in work who just aren't interested in what they're doing. So, you see, this is why when you see young people in shops and offices and engineering companies and truck companies or whatever, they seem to have this bad attitude. And when you think about the situation that they're in, it's quite understandable. I think the other thing that makes a difference is the schools teach children that, you know, they want you all to grow up to be doctors and scientists and fighter pilots and business owners. You're going to grow up and be successful. So you're told that the world out there is just filled with opportunities and chances. And then they go home and they watch TV and they see that you can make money just by being a singer or a dancer or something like that. The world looks like a very easy place to take on. And then when they finally get out into the real world and they get stuck in some dead-end job that they have to stay in if they want to have any money in the pocket at all, and the world just collapses around them. You know, you're 20 years old, you're on a rubbish apprenticeship with as cheap labour for a multinational company that doesn't give two hoots about your future careers and your hopes and your dreams. And then people criticise them for being, well, for not having motivation. And we wonder why to become disinterested. I wonder why they can become radicalised. It's hard for the youth. Give them a break. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the matter.